Today on the channel, we're going to check out this really cool modified Epiphone SG Custom. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to take a look at this really cool Epiphone SG Custom. Got a couple cool stories to tell about this thing, and hopefully you enjoy it. We're going to do a complete review of this guitar, and I'm going to do an audio demo at the very end of this review. I'm going to change strings, clean it up a little bit, get it ready to go, but let's talk about it. First and foremost, I do guitar reviews of instruments and guitars that are available to us currently. I don't look at the latest, newest stuff because, first of all, I don't have anybody sending me guitars to review. Maybe one day that'll happen, but currently right now I like to review guitars that are on the market, that are available. Maybe they've been out for a few years or a couple years. There are some really nice deals out there to be had. This was a find that I found recently at a pawn shop. I'm always looking for guitars. A lot of times I'll flip them, I'll sell them online, or I'll trade them for something else, kind of trade up. Just depends if I really, really like the guitar or not. But I found this thing at a pawn shop. I got this sucker for 300 bucks out the door. And this is a 2021 SG inspired by Gibson series. Epiphone really has stepped up their line of products over the last, I'd say last 2 or 3 years, when they introduced the new Epiphone line in 2020. And I have been looking at these Epiphone SG Customs for a while now, and I just love them. And I saw this, and anyways, so I got a good deal on it. And check this out. This guitar has been modified. When I first saw this at the pawn shop, I thought maybe this is something that Epiphone did on a limited run. Maybe it's a signature model. And I couldn't find anything on Google regarding the setup and the switches here, and I could only assume they were coil tap switches. The only thing I did in the store was check out the frets, make sure there was no fret buzz, no crazy fret sprout, and I determined the neck was of super high quality. By the way, this is not a rock. This is a cork guitar stand that my German Shepherd chewed on a long time ago, and I just haven't bought a new one. I don't know why. I'll buy all these guitars, but I will not splurge the 15 bucks for a cork guitar stand. I promise you, this is not a rock. I always have somebody in the comments tell me, "Why are you putting your guitars on a rock?" It's not on a rock, man. It's a nice soft piece of cork. So no stresses, man. It's not a rock. I want a rock, but I want to rock and roll, not put my guitar in a rock. So check it out. These are dip switches. I didn't plug this guitar in at the pawn shop. I didn't test it. The frets felt good and it was straight. And this guitar is almost like in perfect condition. One thing that really kills me about this guitar is someone got rid of it. Hopefully they weren't on like hard times or something. I don't know, man. But you would think if they customized this guitar like this and they were that into it, they were players. And this guitar has not been played hardly at all. I mean, the pick guard is barely scratched, and there's barely any scratch marks on the pickups. This looks like a Graphtec bridge with these saddles that are less prone to break strings and stay in tune. These things, from what I've seen, are about 90 bucks. So that's a significant upgrade for the money, to get this brass or gold bridge piece. This Graphtec bridge piece is nice. And I can only assume when I was at the pawn shop that these things are tap coils. So we'll take a look on the inside and look at how they got this thing wired up. Let's flip this thing over and we'll take a look at the back side of it. But this guitar is absolutely beautiful, man. I know Les Paul himself didn't like the SG, thought they were ugly, but man, I love the way SGs look. There's a little bit of neck dive on this thing, but this thing is it's beautiful, man. Black and gold, I think, just looks good, and the gold on these knobs. The guy that put these switches on here even put gold switches and gold little nuts and everything on it. Good attention to detail. Okay, let me flip this over. We'll look at the back. Okay, so here's the back. Got some fingerprints on it, but that's about it. Piece of my cat hair. When you have a tuxedo cat, let me just tell you, you get white fur everywhere. I don't know why the white fur on my cat is the only fur that pops off of his body, but I have white fur all over my house. Between him and my German Shepherd, it's like I live in a nest of fur. I have to sweep my house every day, and they're shedding big time. It's the spring right now in Tennessee, and dude, it is. I'm glad I'm not allergic to cat fur and dog fur. It's a full-time job. But yeah, very nice. You can see that there's no neck breaks, nothing. This is really clean. I mean, the back of it, it's almost like this guy modified it because he wanted it to be a player and then never played it. Maybe one of the guys at Gibson modified it and was gifted it and took, ditched it. I don't know. This guitar's like brand new. For only being a year or two old, this thing is, you'd expect it to be in good shape, and it is, but it seemed like there'd be a little bit less or a little more wear on it than this. I'm going to open up this back plate and we'll take a look on the inside. Here's the inside cavity. This thing's kind of a rat's nest, and I can tell this wasn't done, professionally, like by Gibson. I wouldn't even say this was really, maybe a tech did it somewhere, but they've got like this kind of weird masking tape stuff, putting the wires together. But these are inside of these Epiphone, inspired by Gibson cavities. You've got the CTS pots, really nice pots. Everything looks good. Sorry, my hand's in the way. I'm just trying to move this stuff out of the way. It looks like these are direct connect pickups. They've got the easy snap-in pickups. Here's the splitters. I did demo this guitar just a little bit before shooting this video to make sure it worked, because I haven't played it. I mean, I've had this thing for just a little while and I haven't really tested it yet, and it plays awesome. I can't wait to show you the demo. But they are tap coils, and these are the original humbuckers that came with it. I'm going to show you those when I change the strings. But they go out of phase, and they go tap coil and full-on humbucker. So really cool. All right, I'm going to put this cavity cover back on, and we're going to take these strings off. If you noticed earlier, I only had 5 strings on this because I was ripping on some Eric Johnson licks, doing some Cliffs of Dover jamming, and popped that high E string. So hopefully there's no issue with this Graphtec, these saddles. I think that's what this thing is. I think the strings looked kind of new, but that string broke easy, man. It gave out right there at the bridge. So anyway, gonna string it up, shine it up. I'll show you these pickups in just a minute. All right, just for kicks and giggles, here are the pickups. These are Epiphone Pro Buckers. Pro Buckers are, they're great pickups, in all honesty. I really dig the Pro Buckers. Epiphone sells them for like $170 a set, which is pretty insane. I mean, you can go on eBay and get a set of Pro Buckers for like maybe 50 bucks, 50, 60 for the set used. But these are great pickups, man. They're very much like Burst Buckers. They've got a real nice vintagey sound, but they're also hot and chimey. So I'm a Burst Bucker fan. I love Burst Bucker 1s, 2s, and 3s. Some guys don't care for the Burst Buckers, but I love them. Pro Buckers I think are fantastic. And they're a little bit, they sound a little chirpier than, say, a classic 57. But yeah, they look good. On the inside cavity here, we've got the Epiphone little barcode there. And we'll take a look, go full on Trogley here. Look at this neck tenon and the routing. Things are really clean. They do a wonderful job on these guitars, honestly. Very impressed. Maybe they spend a little more time with these customs, but Fantastic. So I'm going to shine this thing up, try to get these fingerprints off of it. And it's kind of like owning a black car, man. No matter what you do, you can't can't keep the thing clean. Everything shows up on it. So wish me luck. We'll get this thing strung up and cleaned up real good, and we'll do a sound test. you.